If you're just throwing together an email campaign the day before it's supposed to go out, you're literally leaving thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. Because all of the brands that are absolutely crushing it with email as well as ads are planning their sales weeks in advance. Today, we're gonna break down exactly how to strategically plan your content calendar around major events using a live example from one of our clients. Whether you're sending email campaigns on a daily basis or just a few times a month, this video is gonna apply to you. The reason why most brands don't plan for sales event campaigns is because they don't necessarily realize just how important it is. Because if done right, a single event like a Valentine's Day sale or an Easter sale could literally represent anywhere from 20 to 40% of that entire month's revenue. And you just can't send one email campaign and expect to get results. What you really need is to craft a full campaign flow with multiple touch points, not only via email, but also SMS, as well as time it along with your social media content as well. So let me give you an idea of what this actually means in practice. So on screen, as you can see, these are the campaigns that we sent recently for one of the brands that we're working with as a part of their Valentine's Day promotion. Over a period of 2 weeks, we sent a total of 11 campaigns leading up to Valentine's Day with the specific purpose of getting everyone to buy now. Now, this type of content absolutely crushed it for this client because they use a lot of urgency and scarcity factors in their marketing. And it features a ton of direct response principles in terms of the teaser up until the sale event actually happening, along with real-time urgency and scarcity being served to the customers regarding this exact promotion. Now, a big common misconception that brand owners tend to have is that they overvalue branding and undervalue cash flow. What do I mean by that? Because you spend so much time on your brand, you end up building this kind of halo effect around your brand, and you're overly scared about being too salesy or pushing offers too aggressively. Whereas the truth is, we as consumers get marketed to dozens and dozens of times a day, if not hundreds. And same thing with your customers. Their inbox, they're probably receiving anywhere from 10 to 30 marketing emails on a daily basis. What they're really looking for in terms of making a purchasing decision is a reason to really buy now. Plus, also, people tend to have pretty short attention spans. Think about it like this, right? Name 3 campaigns from a brand that you're subscribed to over the last 30 days that left a big impression on you. You probably can't name many, right? And it's the same thing with your customers. What they're really looking for is a reason to click the button to check out what you guys have to offer on the website, which is why having a very attractive offer has consistently been shown to be the highest performing thing across literally all of my 7, 8, and even 9-figure portfolio clients. So what does it actually take to build a high-performing event-based campaign sequence? To show you this, I'm gonna break this down into 4 individual phases. Phase 1 is what I call the teaser phase, right? Building some anticipation before the sale drops. So this actually kind of depends a little bit on the brand that we work with. But for example, for the brands that are very heavily into branding and is very community centric or audience centric, they tend to drop slightly less discounts throughout the year, right? So whenever there's a sales event, it's kind of a big deal for them. So that's exactly how we position it in the consumer's mind. Whereas for our, let's say, daily send clients that are doing 8, maybe touching 9 figures, because we're sending promos on a daily basis, we sometimes would skip this phase. So depending on the volume of emails you're sending out on a weekly basis, you might also choose this phase because it generally doesn't attribute the most revenue. But effectively, the messaging here is just hey, something big is happening tomorrow, keep your eyes peeled for your inbox. Or this could also be used for product launches, You can also go after the VIP angle in this phase, talking about how hey, we wanted to alert you as one of our VIP customers that a big sale is happening tomorrow. And we wanted to give you a special early warning because we don't want you to miss out on this incredible deal because we feel like we might sell out. Phase 2 of the event-based campaigns are going to be your launch phase or even early bird phase. It just depends on how long you plan to run this promotion for. This is when your sales officially starts now. And here, the segment that you want to be targeting is going to be your entire engaged list. In this phase, you really want to be alluding to the fact that, hey, look, this is an incredible offer. We don't run this very often. And you may even want to include some sort of countdown timer. Let's say, for example, your sale starts on a Monday, right? But this is the early bird phase. You can have a countdown timer that ends on Friday, but in your head, you're actually going to run this promo until the Friday after, right? But on the countdown timer, you can still set it to Friday because it's early bird, because it's the end of the early bird offer, right? So one big thing here is during this campaign flow, what you might end up doing is sending quite a lot of campaigns in terms of maybe daily sends, or if it's like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, sometimes we're sending 2-3 times a day for the brands that we work with. You're gonna wanna exclude the people who have purchased in the last, let's say 15 to 30 days. Right? Because what you don't want to do is for people who just received their product, but they paid full price, to get any type of buyer's remorse, because that could leave a sour taste in their mouth regarding the brand. As long as the exclusions are made, you're going to be completely fine in terms of protecting your brand reputation, because everyone that sees the promotional emails are people who have not bought very recently at all. Phase 3 is the urgency phase. So this could be the official sale starts now, or if you didn't have an early bird phase, the urgency would be placed on the fact that the sale event is ending soon. In this phase, countdown timers works incredibly well just because you're gonna see the countdown timer kind of like progressively drop in the numbers as they read the emails. And if historically you've had a problem with selling out all of your inventory, then also scarcity tactics around inventory levels would work incredibly well here, especially for example with fashion brands, right? Like generally speaking, in fashion, majority of your sales goes to one of your like top 2 viral SKUs, let's say. If there's genuine scarcity on those units and on those styles, feel free to scream that at the top of your lungs in your emails, because what's going to happen is people are going to go to your store, they're likely going to buy that product, but also be easily upsold onto a couple other pieces, especially if you include things like free shipping, easy returns, and that kind of stuff in your customer service policies. And the final phase, phase 4, is the last call phase. Or you might choose to have an extension phase, right? So basically with the last call phase, it's just like, hey, last chance, sale ending midnight, etc., etc. If you want to add an extension, the sale can end, and then you extend it again with, let's say, another 48-hour timer, that kind of stuff. But it's like really hitting the urgency factors. Here, you don't want to get too fancy with the content in terms of like doing long form copy, storytelling, and those kind of things, because ultimately you're trying to create a ton of FOMO in your readers. Now, obviously several things that I've mentioned in this video is heavily dependent on the frequency of campaigns that you're sending at. So for example, if you're sending anywhere from 1 to 4 campaigns on a weekly basis, then you're gonna wanna only focus on the high impact phases. So that means skipping phase 1 in terms of like the launch, and then diving straight into phase 2 in terms of the actual launch, inserting some urgency, maybe blending that even with the last chance phase, just depending on how many campaigns you're sending on a weekly basis. Now, if you're already at decent scale and you want to start sending campaigns on a daily basis, that's completely fine. You just got to make sure that the engaged segments are very honed in, as well as you're making the right plays in terms of the relevant exclusions that you're making to your site as well. So I mentioned obviously segmentation several times. What does that actually mean, and how does that relate to helping you maximize revenue? So if you don't segment correctly, what's going to happen is your sender reputation is going to get damaged over time. And as a result, long term, you're going to get less opens and less people seeing your emails. And as a result, over time, it's going to lead to a massive drop in revenue. So in terms of the segments, depending on your sending frequency, what you really want to be aiming for is to be able to consistently send to anywhere from 50% of your entire list to around 60 to 80%, depending on how low your frequency of sending is. So for example, for our daily send clients, we're typically hitting anywhere from 40 to 50% of their entire list, meaning if they have 500,000 active profiles inside of Klaviyo, we're typically hitting anywhere from 200,000 to 250,000 per email campaign to the engaged segments. Whereas for our lower frequency sending clients, aka the ones that we're sending anywhere from 3 campaigns a week to 4 campaigns a week for those types of brands, we're generally hitting around 60, maybe even 70% of their entire list size. Reason being is because with the daily send clients, we need to be very defensive about our sender reputation, whereas with the lower frequency ones, we can afford to be a little more reckless with it, tactically of course, as it's gonna net more people reached for those brands. Another thing to potentially include, and I would highly recommend this as well, is including and testing and playing around with some plain text emails, especially if you want to scale up to those higher sending frequencies, because plain text emails will carry a higher deliverability as well as increase the likelihood that you're going to end up in the primary inbox. Now, if you're not entirely sure how to write plain text emails, I have that already documented on my channel, so feel free to subscribe and watch that video. But if you're extra protective and you want to be extra safe with deliverability, as well as make more money with your email marketing, you can actually check out a software called Inbox Cure. And what that does is it helps you land in the primary folder at a higher rate, specifically combating your emails from landing in the promotional folder. So just as a final recap, right? If you want to absolutely master and crush campaign revenue through event-based sales campaigns, you want to be planning your calendars at least 2 weeks in advance, have multiple phases to your sale, use a mix of plain text as well as design-based emails, and lastly, optimize your frequency based on your brand size as well as engagement levels. And if this sounds just a bit overwhelming to you and you're a solo founder or with a small team and you just don't really want to manage this, but just know that email marketing will absolutely print you a ton of cash, feel free to book a call with my team in the description below. We'd be more than happy to help. We typically work with brands minimum doing 50K a month or more, all the way up to 10 to 12 million per month in revenue. See you in the next one.